Hi, this is Philip Mason with Incredible Fathers. Just wanted to share a few insights with you today that have been on my mind as I've been thinking about you. And I know that oftentimes criticisms that come from others are actually hold you back as a father, as a husband, and keep you from being your best self. So I just wanted to talk a little bit today about how if we handle those criticisms well, it can turn for the better and can help us move forward in our journey towards being a good husband and good father. Oftentimes criticism can really hurt when it comes from those that we love most. And sometimes we get criticism at work, we get it from neighbors, we get it from people at the grocery store. But when it comes from our own spouse or from our own children or our own parent, that can be very painful sometimes. And sometimes it's painful because there's a lot of truth in it, and other times it's painful because there's almost no truth in it. And so it can hurt either way. And I think the way that we approach that and handle that criticism makes a big difference in how we perform. A lot of people get depressed or discouraged when they receive a lot of criticism, and it just kind of drags them down, and they don't end up being a good husband and father because of that. I'll share with you one thing that I've learned from one of my mentors. His name was Eric Moses, and he was my seminary teacher a long time ago. And he was great at handling criticism. And one of the tactics that he would use is if someone criticized him for something, he would just accept it. Like he would just take it, hold it, and catch it. He would just simply say, "Thank you." And anytime someone criticized him, he would just say, "Thank you." And I just thought that was so profound, just the way he handled that. There was one other thing that he was really a master at, and that was it was the humor, using humor to kind of diffuse the tension and accept that criticism. And so a lot of times he would crack a joke, and in cracking that joke, he would accept the criticism for what it was, and it was kind of his way of saying, "Yeah, there's definitely some ironies here in this situation, and no doubt we can all learn something from this, and I can learn something from this." So I thought that was a really profound way to handle criticism. One of the greatest teacher and the greatest leader is Jesus Christ, and he had all sorts of criticism. So even though he was the greatest of all, he had all sorts of criticism leveled at him, there's tons of irony in that. But the way he handled the criticism was very profound too. There was times when the criticism was just so false, he had to expose it. It justified exposing it. And so when there was hypocrisy for criticism leveled at him, he pointed it out, and he said, "Actually, you've done this, and you've done this, and that's contrary to what I am." And there's other times where he, instead of getting upset or defensive, Christ just simply started teaching people, and he would share with them true principles and true doctrine, which would ultimately change their behavior if they accepted it. One thing that I find really profound that Christ did, and it's something that you and I can do too, when he was taken before the Roman governor Pontius Pilate to be crucified, and basically he was on trial, and he had all these accusations leveled against him falsely. Pontius wanted a reply. He wanted a response. But what did Christ do? He was just remained silent. He didn't say anything, and he just held his peace. And a lot of times when we're criticized, that can be one of the most profound things we can do, is just to hold our peace. Some of the people that I've noticed when they've been criticized, they just listen and they just take it in, and they in their minds I can see them thinking, is there any truth to what they're saying? And they just kind of digest it for what it is. And they don't let it be anything more than that. And so those people who are often silent and are listening, sometimes those are the most courageous and the most confident people that I know. And sometimes when we're receiving criticism, it's just important to listen and be silent and be okay with that for a moment. So those are two insights from Eric Moses and from Jesus Christ that have really helped me, and I hope that they'll be helpful to you as well. I would like to share one final thing with you, and that is that what you send out will return back to you again. So if you're someone that goes around criticizing other people a lot, you can fully expect that other people will come back and start criticizing you. But if you're one who's very slow to criticize others, then other people will be very slow to criticize you. And that's just the way it works. And that's the way it works in this life. And so remember and strive to try to be someone who is slow to criticize others and recognize your own faults. But if someone does offer criticism to you, don't be offended by it, but just take it in stride and just say, "Hey, is there any